Maido! Hi there, Japan fans. Today's show we're going to be talking about signposts. Prezen o master shimasho. This is the 8th year of the Presentation Japan Series podcast. We're beaming around the world to you from sunny Minato-ku in Tokyo. I'm your host, Dr. Greg Story, Dale Carnegie Tokyo franchise owner, the president of Dale Carnegie Tokyo Training, and the 3-time best-selling author of Japan Sales Mastery, which is Zaeigyo in Japanese, Japan Business Mastery, and Japan Presentations Mastery, or in Japanese, Anatomo Prezen no Tachijin. Plus, Stop Wasting Money on Training, which in Japanese is Training de Okane o Muru ni Suru wa Yamimashou, and all are available on Amazon. Through this podcast, I want to help you become a better speaker, to be 1, clear, 2, confident, 3, persuasive, 4, highly influential with those around you. Don't forget to subscribe and share this podcast with your family, friends, and colleagues. We are not being sponsored by Libsyn, but we value your privacy, which is why we have our podcast hosted by Libsyn. Unlike many other hosting organizations, Libsyn have a strict policy that does not allow access to your private information by anyone. Here is our daily podcast lineup on Apple Podcasts. Mondays, the Cutting Edge Japan Business Show podcast. Tuesday, the Presentations Japan series. And every second Tuesday, the Business Tachijin no Oshier show. Wednesdays, the Sales Japan series. Thursdays, the Leadership Japan series. And every second Thursday, the Business Pro Podcasto show. Fridays, the Japan Business Master Show podcast, and Saturdays, Japan's top business interviews. Now, this is episode number 377. Today, we're talking about signpost your presentation in Japan. Navigation is critical in presenting. This is how we keep the audience with us and keep reinforcing our key messages. Years ago, I attended a speech by a serious VIP. He had jetted in from the US to visit Japan and made time to give the Chamber of Commerce members the benefits of his insights. It was a seriously meandering and confusing talk. I was left befuddled and bemused. Later, speaking with others, I found I wasn't the only one struggling to understand where he was going with his messaging. What was the impression he left with me? Negative? Unimpressed? Insulted? He did serious damage to his personal and professional brands that day. Here we are, years later, and I am still recalling that catastrophe. Recently, I was asked to provide a review of a new book, and because I'm always time poor, I thought listening to the audio version would give me more flexibility to work my way through it. I've narrated my own book on Japan Sales Mastery, so I know how tough that recording process is. Interestingly, apart from being reminded of how exhausting doing the narration was, I was noting the importance of navigation in that medium. I was trying to scan the subject matter to be able to cobble together a review which captured the breadth of the topic and the point of view being offered. This meant I had to stabilize a lot of information in my mind and draw on that to pull the threads together. Actually, I found it hard to do and had to listen to the audio a second time to get the overview I needed. So much for saving time. You only have voice on the audio, and that is very similar to our presentations. Of course, we can add visual stimulation through the slide deck, and that mechanism also adds great navigation possibilities to keep the listeners with us. Nevertheless, I was thinking about those occasions where you don't or can't use slides, and what were the learnings about navigation when all you have to work with is voice. This is where signposts come in. As trainers, we are taught to set up the phases of the training. For example, if we're going to go into small groups to discuss a point, we don't just say, break into 3 groups. We will say, in a moment, we're going to break into 3 groups to discuss XYZ. The reason for this is we need navigation for the participants during the class. They need to mentally prepare themselves for the pivot from what they have been doing to what is coming in the next phase. Find out more. We come back from the break. Our show today is brought to you by our public courses, but we also do custom in-house programs. We do them in Japanese, we do them in English, we do them in our super safe classroom, and we do them live online. Our show today is being brought to you by, on the 25th and 26th of April, we have our High Impact Presentations program. On the 26th of April, doing our Winning with Relationship Selling course. And on the 9th of May, we'll be doing our Dale Carnegie course 3-day version. Go to our website, dale-carnegie.co.jp. That's Dale, D-A-L-E Carnegie, C-A-R-N-E-G-I-E.co.jp. Lots and lots of value there for you. To do better in Japan, email me at greg.story, that's greg.story, S-T-O-R-Y, at dalecarnegie.com. If you like learning by watching videos, then we have over 2,300 there for you at Tokyo, Japan, Dale Carnegie TV on YouTube. We release 3 shows every week on YouTube. The Cutting Edge Japan Business Show, that's the premier business show in Japan, every Monday, Tokyo time. Fridays, we have the Japan Business Mastery Show, and on Saturdays, we release Japan's top business interviews, where I interview leaders from SMEs right up to the corporate captains of industry on one topic, leading in Japan. Now, every second Thursday, we release the Business Pro Television Show. Get my best-selling books on business in Japan. The Bible on Selling, Japan Sales Mastery, that's Zaegyo in Japanese, Japan Business Mastery, and Japan Presentations Mastery, which is Anatomo Present no Tachijin in translation, plus Stop Wasting Money on Training, which in Japanese is Training de Okane o Mudni Sono wa Yamimashou. And all are available on Amazon. Welcome back. Our presentations are like that too. We'll have certain topics in the speech providing the points we want to make and the evidence to support our position. Generally, in a 40-minute speech, we'll have a limited number of chapters for our speech. We have our overarching key point we want to make, and then we back that up with subpoints arranged as chapters, and then surround those subpoints with proof. There are a series of pivots from one chapter to the next throughout the talk. We need to make sure we are guiding our audience to come with us rather than making a pivot and losing them on the turn. We might bridge from one topic to the next if the theme is related, or we may need to make a sharp turn into a new topic. Either way, we need to announce it to the audience. For example, we've been talking about the economic ramifications of this change in regulation. Let me now talk about the HR dimensions of these proposed changes. The regulatory changes are the common issue, and we are slightly elongating the topic to cover another different but related angle so the transition is easy for our listeners to follow. If we are making a major pivot, then we need to set that up. For example, we've been talking about the economic ramifications of this change in regulation. Let me switch gears and talk about a new topic which we will all have to deal with in the next 6 months. In this way, the audience understands that regulatory issues as a topic is completed, and now we're moving to an entirely new subject. When we warn them that this switch is coming, they mentally adjust their concentration to deal with the new direction. If we don't do this, we're changing topics, and listeners are left to their own devices to understand if these two topics are related or different, and what is the connection between them, if there is a connection. You can see how easily we can confuse the crowd when we pivot subjects. So, let's leave some breadcrumbs so the listeners can stay with us as we move around the topic and make our main points during the talk. If we do this, they will be with us at the end rather than lost and reaching for their mobile phones to find something infinitely more interesting than us. We can't have that now, can we? Did you get value from today's show? If you did, then share the love around with your family, friends, and colleagues. Don't forget to subscribe and share this podcast. Until the next episode, go out there and apply the learnings from today and become a presentations legend amongst your circle. Thank you for joining me, and please tune in next week. Remember, I'm in your corner, your go-to guy for soft skills training in Tokyo, committed to your success here in Nippon.